15 Git commands that you must know as a developer. Yes, in this video, we're going to be sharing with you guys 15 Git commands that you should know as a developer if you want to get a job in the industry. And without any further ado, let's get the ball rolling. For command number one, we're going to be looking at one of the basic command that you should start with if you're building a project using Git. And this one, all it does is just initialize the project for you. Nothing biggie. It's very simple. But as we go down the line, we're going to be exploring commands that are a little bit much harder compared to this one that we're just looking at. And there you go. That was command number one. Command number two. For command number two, we're going to be looking at something called git remote add origin. What is it? Well, sometimes your project might not be connecting to a remote repository. Well, git remote add origin is a way for you to connect your local project to the remote connection. And then for that connection is built, you can start pushing things to that remote connection. And again, that was git command number two. Now, as you're running a lot of git commands, sometimes it might be good to know exactly where you are or which files that has been modified, which one that hasn't. So for command number three, git status, give you that peace of mind in letting you know or view the status of the file that is either being tracked, either being on track, or either being modified. Now that gives you that visibility in order for you to know, okay, this file actually has modified this file. And again, that was command number three. Once you know which file that has changed or not, then you can start moving things down the pipeline. For command number four, we're going to be looking at something called git add or git capital -A, right? What the difference between them is, this one is in case you are a little bit deeper within the git directory, then this is going to go ahead and select everything, including anything higher. But for this one, if you are inside that current directory, it just select everything from where you are all the way to the child. Again, it could be confusing, but you can either use either one of them to start moving things to a stage that has been modified, and then from there you can kind of continue going down the pipeline. And that was command number four. Now the way git work is just like a couple steps that you follow. As you saw, we go with git init, git add, and then you're gonna go down the pipeline. I always want to explain to you guys that git, it's all about those four commands that you run: git add, git init, git add, and then the next one, which is git commit. And this is the one that we're looking at as command number five. Now all this does is just taking whatever that you had staged from the previous command and just kind of move it to a committed stage, right? And those are ready to be committed. This is like a final touch, and you say, hey, I'm good with this, then this is where you kind of go ahead and kind of do git commit. Now for the -M, it's just like for you to say, okay, hey, I'm gonna go ahead and kind of add a message right there. And that was command number five. And as we said earlier, git is just a 4 different step process. What do I mean by this? Well, first thing first, init, git add, and then git commit. And for the step number 6, we're gonna be looking at the final step where you actually go ahead and push things to your remote connection. We're going to discuss what remote connection means in a second. I know that might not make sense to you, but don't worry, we're going to break it down in order for you to understand in a second. And for command number 6, just like you saw, you can pretty much use git push, and that will go ahead and push it to the remote connection. Now -U is a way to specify which origin that we're pushing it to, or which connection that we're going to go ahead and kind of push it to. Now one thing I want to mention with this, you can have multiple connections. Yes, in a project, one perfect example, one project could be connecting to GitHub, and another one could be connecting to Heroku, and another one. So yes, basically you can have multiple connections all connected to your local project. And then once you're good to go, you just go ahead and kind of push it to the desired location. In this case, one project could be connecting to Heroku, another one could be connecting to somewhere. Whatever you want to do, you just go ahead and push that to something like Heroku or anywhere that means. But again, this is what this command is. It just allows you to take whatever that you had committed and go ahead and push it to the remote that it's connected to. And that was command number 6. Now, before we go any further, it is time for me to explain to you what the heck is remote connection, right? So let's think about remote connection, aka remote repository. So local repository is what you have on your local computer, but remote connection is wherever that you hosting your entire code base. This is where this is being connected. In this case, it could be GitHub, it could be GitLab, any code that you have on there. This is where the remote connection is located. So sometimes you might hear the term remote connection, remote repository, but all that means is just like where you going to push that code. It's make sure that it's connected to your local computer. And once you build that connection, you can start pushing and pulling things out and so forth. That was command number 6. Now for command number 6, this is when you start working with teams, right? When you're working in a team environment, everybody's pushing things to the remote connection. Well, how do you get the most updated changes from your team? And this is where this command number 7 comes in, which is git pull origin main. In this case, you're saying, okay, I'm going to be pulling from whichever origin that everybody's working with, and I'm going to be pulling from the main branch, which is the branch that everybody is working in. And again, this is a way for you to be able to pull the latest from everybody and merge them into your computer. And that was command number 7. As you start working with every single teammate, everybody has a branch, right? But there might be some branches that are only on the repo project on the remote connection, and it might be some branches that are now on your local computer. But how do you view all the branches, either local, either remote connection, right? Well, this is where command number 8 comes in. Well, for command number 8, use something called git branch. If you just use this one, it will just display all the branches that you have used locally. But if you use the flag -a, what this is going to do for you is this is going to give you a preview of all the branches in your local, including the remote connection. So it's always good to see what your teammate is working on, what branches that they have. Maybe you might need to go ahead and kind of explore their branches and see what they're up to. Wait, did I mention that you might need to switch out to their branch and see what they're up to? Yes, and this is where command number 9 come in, right? For command number 9, you can go ahead and kind of do something like git check out the branch of your teammate, and this will allow you to kind of go ahead and go and see what they're up to, they've been working on, what changes that they're doing. Again, all you have to do is just type git check out and whatever your teammates branch, and you'll be able to quickly switch between any branches that you want on your local devices. And that was command number 9. For command number 10, you might see something maybe you like from Peter's branch or John's branch or whoever's branch, but you might need to bring that over to your branch. Or another example might be, hey, you have 2 branches, you want to combine them together, or you want to merge them together. And this is command number 10 comes in very handy. All you got to do is just to git merge the branch name that you want to merge or you want to bring over. So it's going to take that branch and bring it over to the branches that you are, and that's going to go ahead and merge them together. That was command number 10. Now for command 11th, this one is actually very interesting because sometimes you might be working and you completely screw things up. Like you don't even know what's going on, right? You write a lot of changes, you've been committing and everything, and you're like, crap, I don't think this is working, but everybody else changes are working. Everybody's running project fine except you. Well, this is the moment for you to reset, not reset your entire life, but just reset the git command that you're using. In this case, all you got to do is just do git reset --hard in the head. Then that way, what's going to happen here is that's going to take all the changes that you made in your local computer and update it to the latest version that was committed to GitHub. And now this will kind of go ahead and completely reset your Git environment and bring you up to date with the latest version that was in GitHub. Now, before we go to command number 12, I want to take a second and say, hey, you're doing really well right now. So whatever you're doing, just keep doing. You're almost done. We're almost done. We just have 3 more commands remaining and you should be done with this video. Meanwhile, if you enjoyed this video in any form, please follow us on every single social media at my handle. You'll find me every on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and even YouTube where you're watching this, wherever you're watching this. So anyway, without any further ado, let's get the ball rolling. So you've been switching between branches, you've been pulling changes, yada yada, you've been committing stuff, but sometimes you want to be able to work on something and it hasn't fully finished yet, but you still want to be able to switch and see what your teammate is doing, right? You don't want to commit whatever you've been working on. You just want to put them like in a temporary place for now until you go and check and see what your teammate's working on. Then you come back and bring whatever you had in that temporary place back, and then you can continue working. Well, this is where git stash comes in, right? So git stash allow you to be able to not commit those changes, but be able to switch between branches. Then you can come back to the original branch and be able to bring back those changes, and you don't have to worry about committing them. It's just like, hey, you stash them out. It will be in like temporary place. You're able to switch, and whenever you see what they're up to, you come back and then you unstash whatever that you had done. Now, this command is pretty useful. I use this one all the time. Yes, I do. Command number 13. Now, as you committing stuff, right? And this one actually, it's one of those commands that a lot of people sometimes can find it a little bit difficult to work with. Git rebates, right? But all it is doing is just like reorganizing commits. You've been committing a lot of things and you just want to spend some time and reorganize things with using git rebates. So there's a lot of different ways you could use it. It's a very powerful command, but git rebates, that's all it does, and you can start using it that way. All right, so let's assume that for command number 14, let's assume that you just went to Peter's branch. You see something cool they were working on, but he's been committing a lot of stuff. But one specific commit that he did, he actually bring a lot of valuable stuff from that commit. You don't want all his changes to your branch. You only need that specific things that he committed to your branch. Like he might have done a lot of things. You just want one specific commit that he's done. Well, you can do that using this command, which is git cherry pick. So what this allows you to do is this allows you to choose a commit from one branch and then apply that to another branch. If you haven't used this one before, definitely recommend you check this out. It's pretty useful. For the last command and the final command, yes, the final command, we're looking at command 15, which is git bisect. What does it do? Well, let me explain. Well, sometimes the teammate is writing a lot of code, but this code sometimes might introduce some bugs, which means things might be breaking as they're building things super fast. Well, git bisect allows you to discover the exact command that has introduced a bug in the code base. Yes, now you can see exactly, hey, who brought on that bug into our code base, and we can kind of help them debug them. Do not not blame them. Everybody make mistake, but this is just a chance for you to kind of see when the bug happened and how you can help your fellow developers as an engineer. So there you go, folks. These were the 15 Git commands that we have gathered and put together for you. Let me know what you think. Which one of them that you like the most? Or maybe there is one that we forgot to mention here. Leave them in the comment below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Hasta la vista.